Yo, what is good, family? Hope you all are having an amazing day. In today's video, we're gonna break down a very simple key in the fastest way possible. That is really the backend and the foundation of everything I do in trading. And it's basically a way to mechanically mark up the market structure. So anyone can do it in the same way, because back in the day when I started 7 years ago, everyone was marking up the structure in a different way, right? And it didn't matter how much time you had in the markets. People with the same 5 years of experience will mark up the market structure completely different depending on who they learn from. And basically, I was always looking for a way to systematically, to objectively mark up the market structure. And that's what I have achieved over the years, and the way that I explain to the students, obviously on the intensive course that I have and on the live sessions that I make daily. This is overly deeply explained, obviously, but right here I will tell you the foundation of that rule. The foundation of that rule is something very simple: OHLC. All right, the open, the high, the low, and the close of every candle. You have seen me talking about this a lot of times, multiple times on the videos, but I've never explained it deeply like I'm gonna do right now. And basically, the open, high, low, and close of each candle is giving you all the information. You don't need 1,000 indicators. You don't need 1,000 drawing tools. You don't need any of that. You just need to understand the open, the high, the low, and the close of each candle. So let's go, for example, randomly to this candle over here. This is a bullish candle. The OHLC is right above here on TradingView. Let's zoom in a little bit. You see OHLC. If I put my mouse above this candle, we see that the open is 110,724.02. The high, the low, and the close of that candle. That's given us a lot of information. Basically, the main thing you guys have to understand is on a bullish candle, obviously the first thing we have on any candle is the open, clearly, and the last thing we have is the close. Now, the points that are going to be different depending on the direction of the candle is the high and the low. Which point is made first will make you understand how price is moving properly. Because someone will tell me, no, but I understand that the structure is this. Someone will tell me, no, but I understand the structure is this. No, but I see the structure as all of this, as a one impulse. Well, with the OHLC, there is no room for mistakes. There is no room for subjectivity. We understand a basic rule. For every candle, the first point that is made is the open, and the last point is the close. Now, the high and the low depend on the direction and the order flow of that specific moment. As a rule of thumb, 99.95% of the times, on a bullish candle, the low will be made before the high. On a bearish candle, the high will be made before the low. Now, clear example. For example, this we have low, high, higher low, higher high. Let's put the replay mode. And let's go back to 1 minute so we can see the price action. As you see, the 5 minute candle right here is from 9:55 to 9:59. 9:55 until 9:59. You see that in this gap of time, first makes the low, as you see right here, and then makes the high. Fantastic. Now, next candle is from 10 until 10:04. So from 10 until 10:04, first makes the low, and then makes the high. So if you see this, is literally how the price moves in the 1 minute, but you don't have to go actually to the 1 minute. In the 5 minutes, understanding the OHLC you will have a lot of information being broken down. Plus, you will filter all the fake outs that you have in the 1 minute will be filtered out with this method in the M5. And that's basically how, understanding the OHLC, you will have most of the price action decoded. I'm using this in the 5 minutes, but this will clearly work out on the weekly, daily, H4, whatever. So we always have variations, and the only variation is, for example, in candles like this. These type of dojis can be those variations where, for example, it's a bearish candle and first, let's say, makes the low and then the high. We don't know. Because this is a bearish candle, although it's a doji, first should make the high and then the low. Let's see if this is that situation, that variation. This is the candle from 5:30 until 5:34. So we can go to the 1 minute from 5:30 to 5:34. So in this case, we see that the rule is followed. Again, bearish candle first makes the high and then the low. The variation will be the opposite. Bearish candle first makes the low and then the high. It's very common to see that on dojis like this one. In this case, it's not any variation, but you will have situations when the dojis are not following the rule of thumb. In those cases, like I just did right now, you just go to the 1 minute and you verify. But that's basically how you will be able to say, all right, this is the structure of the market. Now, the next thing is, how can you benefit from seeing the structure like this, right? That's the other thing. And that's the foundation of all M5R. If you go to see all my videos, everything you will see is how to benefit from the OHLC from a scalping perspective using one trade a day, one pair a day, one session a day. Literally just with 1 hour a day, you will be able to benefit from OHLC on a scalping perspective with any pair, any trading time, literally. So it's very important to understand this concept. If you see in my videos, you don't see 1,000 indicators, a lot of pairs, a lot of charts, drawing tools. You don't see any of that because it's like having the lenses. And you can read the matrix, the code of the matrix, right? This is literally it. The OHLC is the language of the markets because it's how candles are developed. If you use, let's say, line chart, we are talking on a completely different thing because line charts are built by the closing of the candles. But on Japanese candles, a lot of people just see lines and thick bodies, whatever. It's like watching the code of the matrix. But understanding the OHLC, now you suddenly understand how price is moving. In scenarios like this, it's pretty clear. For example, we have low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Fantastic. In the 1 minute, we can go and see, oh, it's exactly as price moved, right? We see that the price did this high and then went lower, then did the high, pulled back, higher high, pulled back, and then the higher high. It's literally it. Obviously, you will need ways, like I do, to filter out all of these movements so you don't see higher lows and higher highs everywhere. In M5R, I never mark it up like this. I just go from this low to this high because then you need rules to filter out what is a higher high and what is a higher low. That's what M5R is all about, so you're not going crazy with all these small movements, which you see that they are even super small on the 1 minute. But it's very important to understand OHLC. Then you can add any indicator, you can add any other confluence, whatever. But OHLC is the foundation of everything. So if you're not a master, if you're not an expert of OHLC, what I will encourage you for sure is to be a master of OHLC. You will understand a lot more from now on the videos that I have in my channel. after watching all of this, because this is the pillars of everything. So with this being said, family, any questions, you can feel free to type your questions in the chat box, or to talk to my Instagram, to my DMs, which is in the description of this video. You can also ask about the private group of students and see if we have available spots for you, so you can have access to the whole strategy intensive course from 0 to 100, to all the lab analysis sessions that I do in Spanish and English from Monday to Friday, and also to the private app where I send all the ideas from crypto, forex, and other markets. With this being said, family, see you on the next videos. Let's get it.